What if you could get people to give you exactly what you want without ever asking for it? Most people believe that getting what they want requires persuasion, negotiation, or even outright requests. But here's the truth. The most powerful minds in history, leaders, strategists, master manipulators, didn't ask. They influenced. They created an environment where people wanted to comply. They planted ideas so subtly that others believed they had come up with them on their own. And once you understand how this works, you'll never need to ask for anything again. Think about it. Have you ever made a decision only to later realize you were nudged into it? A friend suggests a restaurant, but suddenly you feel like you picked it. A boss assigns a project, but somehow you feel like you volunteered. A skilled negotiator gets a deal, but the other side thinks it was their win. This isn't luck. This is strategic mind games at play. In this video, you'll learn 6 powerful psychological tactics that will allow you to make people willingly offer you what you want, control conversations without dominating them, influence decisions without direct persuasion, and most importantly, you'll do it all without ever asking. Let the game begin. The art of strategic scarcity. People don't crave what's easy to get. They crave what they can't have. Think about it. Why do people fight for limited edition items? Why do VIP clubs only allow a select few? Why do some individuals attract more attention simply by being less available? Because scarcity creates desire. When something is everywhere, it's taken for granted. But when it's rare, people suddenly feel the need to chase it. This isn't just marketing, it's human psychology. Why does this work? Luxury brands understand this perfectly. High-end watches, designer handbags, exclusive vehicles, they're not rare because they can't make more. They're rare because they don't want to. The illusion of limited supply increases demand. Powerful individuals do the same. They don't make themselves available to just anyone. They control their time, their presence, their attention. And because of that, people compete for them. The rule: the less available something is, the more valuable it becomes. Want proof. Look at high-status figures. They rarely over-explain. They don't always respond immediately. They don't seek validation. And yet, people seek theirs. How do you apply this? The less available, more desired technique. Stop being always available, whether in relationships, business, or social circles. Speak less, but make every word count. When people ask for your time, don't immediately say yes. In negotiations, create artificial scarcity. Make it seem like what you're offering is limited. Remember, people don't chase what's given freely. They chase what's just out of reach. But scarcity alone isn't enough. You also need to make people seek your approval. Let's talk about silent confidence. Silent confidence. Making people seek your approval. People crave validation. It's human nature. Most spend their lives trying to be liked, seeking approval, chasing compliments, needing reassurance. But those who truly command respect, they don't give validation easily. They make others work for it. Here's why this works. When you react too quickly, whether to a compliment, a question, or a request, you reveal that your approval is easy to get. And if it's easy to get, it's not valuable. Think about the most powerful figures in history. They didn't rush to praise. They didn't react with excitement. Instead, they made people compete for their attention, their recognition, their approval. Example: Julius Caesar didn't seek validation. He let others seek his. Napoleon didn't throw compliments. He made people earn them. Even in modern times, high-status individuals, billionaires, world leaders, elite strategists, never appear overly impressed. And that makes people try harder to win them over. The rule? The less you react, the more they crave your validation. How do you apply this? The delayed reaction rule. When someone compliments you, pause, then acknowledge it subtly. When someone seeks your opinion, don't respond immediately. Let them wonder. When someone tries to impress you, nod, but don't overpraise. Make them keep proving themselves. Most people chase approval, but the ones who truly hold power, they make people chase theirs. But silence alone isn't enough. To truly get what you want without asking, you must master the power of implied desire. The power of implied desire. Powerful people never ask directly. They don't beg. They don't demand. Instead, they imply. They plant ideas so subtly that others believe they came up with them on their own. Why does this work? Because people hate being told what to do. The moment you ask for something, they instinctively resist. But when they believe it was their choice all along, they follow through willingly. Think about it. When someone tells you, you should do this, your first reaction is to question it. But if they simply suggest an idea and let it sit in your mind, you start convincing yourself that it's the right move. Example, elite negotiators never make direct demands. They frame conversations so the other person feels like they're in control. A skilled salesperson won't say, you should buy this. Instead, they'll say, most successful people choose this option. A master manipulator won't ask for a favor outright. Instead, they'll casually say, it would be amazing if this happened, and wait for someone else to offer. A high-status leader won't demand loyalty. Instead, they'll create an environment where people want to prove their loyalty on their own. The rule? People resist being controlled, but they embrace ideas they think are their own. How do you apply this? The reverse suggestion technique. Instead of asking, imply. Let the idea linger. Instead of requesting, frame your words so they naturally lead to the conclusion you want. Instead of demanding, make them feel like it was their decision all along. For example, can you help me with this? Too direct. I wish I had an extra hand for this. They offer to help. You should invest in this. Too pushy. Smart investors are paying close attention to this right now. They feel like they discovered it themselves. When people think they made the decision, they commit to it more. Make them believe it was their idea. But getting what you want isn't just about planting ideas. It's also about making people feel obligated to give back. Let's talk about the debt effect. Creating the debt effect, making people want to repay you. People hate feeling indebted. When someone gives them something, whether it's a favor, a compliment, or even a small gesture, they feel a natural urge to give back. This is the psychology of reciprocity. It's why businesses offer free samples. Because once you accept something, you feel obligated to return the favor. It's why politicians shake hands, attend local events, and make promises, because when the time comes, people feel they owe them a vote. It's why the smartest strategists in history never ask first. They give first. Example: successful businessmen offer free advice, knowing that later people will feel obligated to return the favor. Social influencers give away valuable content for free, so when they finally promote something, their audience wants to support them. Skilled negotiators do small favors up front, because when the real negotiation begins, the other party feels they need to give something back. The rule? Give something small, but make it feel big. People will feel the need to repay you. How do you apply this? The strategic favor technique. Offer something first. It can be a compliment, a small favor, or useful information. Make it seem valuable. The real power isn't in the favor itself, but in how you present it. Don't ask for anything immediately. Let them sit with the feeling that they owe you. When the moment is right, they will naturally want to repay you without you asking. For example, can you help me with this? No leverage. Hey, I took care of that issue for you. Now, they feel obligated to help you later. Can you introduce me to that person? No incentive. I just put in a good word for you with someone important. Now, they feel like they owe you one. People avoid debt, especially social debt. Use that instinct to your advantage. But there's another powerful tool that forces people to react in your favor: strategic silence. Let's break it down. Control through silence. The uncomfortable pause. Most people are afraid of silence. They rush to fill it, talking too much, explaining too much, revealing more than they should. And that's exactly why silence is a weapon. Controlled silence makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to overthink, second-guess themselves, and even give away information they never intended to share. If you know how to use silence correctly, you can control any conversation without saying a word. Example: lawyers use silence in cross-examinations, waiting for witnesses to slip up. FBI interrogators ask a question, then stay silent, because they know that most people will start talking just to break the tension. Negotiators make an offer, then remain completely quiet, forcing the other person to speak first, often leading them to make concessions. The rule: the person who speaks first loses. Most people can't handle the pressure of silence. If you stay quiet long enough, they'll start explaining, justifying, or even negotiating against themselves. How do you apply this? The 5-second rule. When someone asks you a question, pause for 5 seconds before responding. When negotiating, make your offer, then stay silent. When confronted, don't react immediately. Let them squirm. At first, it will feel uncomfortable, but that's the point. The longer you hold your silence, the more power you hold over the conversation. Want proof? Try it today. Stay silent when people expect you to respond. Watch how they start scrambling to fill the gap. Silence is powerful. But there's another strategy even more effective: controlling choices without making people realize it. Let's talk about the illusion of choice. The illusion of choice. Making people pick what you want. People like to feel in control. They want to believe they have options, that they're making their own decisions. But what if you could guide them without them realizing? This is the power of the illusion of choice. When given too many options, people get overwhelmed. But when given limited choices, they feel in control, while still picking what you want them to. Example: marketers use this tactic all the time. Instead of saying, "Do you want to buy this?" Component placement, they ask, "Would you like the standard package or the premium one?" Either way, you're making a purchase. Politicians frame policies in a way where both choices lead to their desired outcome. Instead of debating yes or no, they make the conversation about which version of their plan should be implemented. Sales experts don't ask, "Do you want this product?" They ask, "Would you like it in black or navy blue?" leading the customer to assume they've already decided to buy. The rule? Never give people the chance to say no. Instead, give them controlled choices that always benefit you. How do you apply this? The two-option trick. Always present two choices, both in your favor. Make them feel like they're in control. Subtly steer the decision in the direction you want. For example, do you want to meet up? Gives them the power to say no. Would you prefer to meet Tuesday or Thursday? They feel in control, but either way, they say yes. Can I have a raise? Too direct. Would it be better to discuss my salary increase this quarter or next? It's no longer about if, but when. People think they're making decisions. In reality, they're choosing between options you've already selected for them. But real power isn't just about giving choices. It's about making people believe they came up with the idea themselves. Let's talk about the final strategy, framing perception. Final strategy, making them think it was their idea. True power isn't about making people obey. It's about making them believe they made the decision themselves. Because when someone thinks an idea is theirs, they don't resist it, they defend it. If you tell someone what to do, they might push back. But if you frame the conversation in a way that makes them think they arrived at the decision on their own, they'll commit to it, even if it was exactly what you wanted all along. Example, elite psychologists use this in therapy. Instead of saying, "You need to change this habit," they ask guiding questions like, "What would happen if you changed this?" Leading the patient to suggest it themselves. Great leaders don't force orders. They frame discussions so that their team believes the plan was a collective decision, when in reality it was strategically guided all along. Parents use this technique all the time. Instead of telling a child, "You have to eat your vegetables," they ask, "Do you want carrots or broccoli?" Either way, the child feels like they made the choice. The rule? People resist control, but they embrace their own ideas. How do you apply this? The framing perception technique. Guide with questions, not statements. Instead of saying, "You should do this," ask, "What do you think about doing this?" Make them fill in the blanks. The less you say, the more they convince themselves. Agree subtly, never forcefully. When they start leaning toward your idea, nod, pause, and let them take ownership of it. For example, "You should hire me." Too direct. What qualities are you looking for in the perfect candidate? Leads them to match the description to you. We need to take this approach. Sounds controlling. Have you considered this strategy? Some of the best companies are using it with great success. They now believe it's a smart idea. Powerful people never ask. They position. They suggest. They create the illusion of choice. And in the end, people give them exactly what they want. Now that you know how to get what you want without asking, how will you use it? Drop a comment below.